After the election, Donald Trump couldn't handle the fact that even though he won the electoral vote, he did not win the popular vote. In fact, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote in the millions. And Trump's response to that was that there was voter fraud, that millions of people voted illegally. As a result, he created something known as the Election Integrity Commission, which wanted to investigate this so-called fraud. Part of their investigation included the collection of voter rolls in every state. Now, of course, that brings up some privacy concerns, and as a result, an organization known as the Electronic Privacy Information Center filed a lawsuit. Now, there is some pretty devastating news in regard to this lawsuit because an appeals court in Washington has just ruled against Epic or the Electronic Privacy Information Center. Now, in its ruling, the 3-judge panel said the following, that the Electronic Privacy Information Center is not a voter. As far as the record shows, it has no traditional membership, let alone members who are voters. Unsurprisingly then, it does not claim standing on behalf of any voter whose data is likely to be collected. The nonprofit group sued the panel in July to halt its attempt to gather publicly available voter data from states, which by the way includes people's names, addresses, birth dates, and also their social security numbers, the 4 final digits of their social security numbers.
Yeah, so look, this is an arguable decision. They're not judging the merit of the case at all. They're just saying that you don't have standing, meaning that you're not the person who can sue them. There might be other people who could sue the administration, but it's not you because you're not directly affected because you're a group and you're not a voter. Okay, so I hope a voter sues. So the problem with authoritarian governments, and we've now seen this across the world, is that once they win in a kind of a democracy, they almost always don't get a majority of the vote. And as you know, famously, Donald Trump did not get a majority of the vote. And so they sneak in through whatever means, and in this case, it's our incredibly antiquated and preposterous electoral college system. And then they go, oh, well, now that we're in, let's now start to rig the system. So that even though we're grossly unpopular, Donald Trump's popularity is at 32%, he ain't gonna win any election that way, right? But all of a sudden they get all the voter information. God knows what they could do with that.
Right.
So one of their main goal is to fight voter fraud. Chris Kobach is the leader of that witch hunt, and it's a lie, it's infinitesimally small. Every single news organization that has looked into it has shown you that it is barely negligible. What is gigantic is voter suppression. When they get like a hatchet man like Kobach to go and try to eliminate a bunch of voters so that, hey, look, you might have the majority of the country, but I eliminated a lot of your voters. And Donald Trump talked about rigging the system. Why? Because every conservative does projections. Whatever's in their head, they attribute it to their opponents. He wants to rig the election, so he said, oh, beforehand when he thought he was gonna lose, it's rigged, it's rigged. Afterwards, he's like, oh, it's awesome, yeah, it's wonderful, right?
Right.
Now he goes about rigging it.
Right, well, and he's so egotistical that he can't handle the fact that he lost the popular vote and won't take any responsibility or ownership of the fact that he is an unpopular president, and goes ahead and says, oh, it's fraud, it has nothing to do with me. Okay, but here's the thing that I have an issue with. Is anyone comfortable, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, liberal, progressive, conservative, is anyone comfortable with the federal government or the Justice Department in this case collecting all of this information on every voter in the United States without telling us what they plan on doing with that information, without telling us how they plan to safeguard that information? Some of that information, sure, is publicly available, but are you comfortable with, the last 4 digits of your social security number, your address, your phone number, all of these things being collected and monitored by the federal government? That is literally, that's the definition of big government. That is Big Brother watching. So for all of those conservatives out there who are always arguing for smaller government, you should be really concerned about the fact that they're doing this right now, that they're fighting tooth and nail to collect all of this information about every voter, and they plan on monitoring them. That's not okay.
You know know that if Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama did it, you'd be losing your mind if you're a conservative.
And you know what's not fair, Cenk? We would be losing our mind. If Obama or Hillary did it, we would be losing our mind. We would be sitting at this desk right now arguing about this. We would be, talking about how it needs to stop immediately. We would be in favor of those who were suing them. But we're not in a fair fight, and that's the frustrating part about it, right? You have one side that wants to play fair. You have the other side that has no interest in playing fair whatsoever, right? As long as it's a person from their tribe, a person from their party, they will support what that individual does tooth and nail. But you got to keep in mind that Republicans won't be in power forever. And when Democrats come into office and they get to utilize these same strategies, are you going to be in favor of it?
Well, that's another problem with the uneven playing field. Look, if it's an establishment Democrat, I have no idea what they're going to do, and they might abuse it, and so good luck with that, okay? But I don't want them doing that. But if it's a progressive, they know it's their, well, like what is Bernie Sanders going to abuse this to rig elections? It's inconceivable, and they know it. They know that by and large, the right wings are guys are the only cheaters. So they're like, well, let's set up a system where we can cheat. We know the other suckers won't do it because they're honest. So look, God help us all if you got an establishment Democrat who wants to do stuff like this too, because I don't put it above them. You probably don't put it above them. And I don't want people cheating. But look, and so that you're clear on this, local governments have voter rolls because you have to know if the person voting is a citizen, lives there and can vote. That is normal. That happens all across the country. That is no problem. This is the federal government collecting this information for what, and they won't tell you why. If it was Obama, you would say it was to set up FEMA camps. If they wanted to get information about your guns, you'd be in the streets.
Yeah.
But they're getting it about you. That's a little bit more personal than your gun. And you're like, oh yeah, it's as long as it's my orange leader, I'm fine with it. It's not fine. It's intrusions into our privacy. And anti-democratic moves like this are not fine, no matter who's in charge. You just watched the video by the Young Turks, the home of the revolution. If you'd like to get the full show, come join us and become a member. tytnetwork.com/join.